This is a video I've wanted to make for quite a while. I've played this game for years and nobody really seems to talk about it. It does have a little bit of a cult following, but only of a few hundred people, and not too many people seem to play this game. Not too many people seem to know about it, and it's a great game. It's literally a Dana White simulator. I'm going to be talking about World of Mixed Martial Arts 5, and in the video I'm probably just going to create a save and almost like a tutorial, like a day one playthrough or whatever. I've played this game a lot. I've probably got hundreds of hours in the game over the course of a couple of years. I've played it a long time. You may recognize it when I do open it up, because it is actually the same game that UFC Gambling Addicts uses to do his AI predictions on his YouTube channel. So it's not like an AI that he uses. It kind of is, because it's a game, but it's literally a game that he plays, and it's he's got kind of like a mod, a real life mod, which you can get for the game. But if you guys want to get into it, let's just talk about the game. I'm going to remove all of my text and image and overlay and all that sort of thing so you guys can see it. The one problem with the game is maybe it can be easily solved, but because I'm really dumb, I don't really know how to do it. It's kind of just like this. I know you can full screen it if you want to, but I've kind of just played the game the whole time kind of like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create a new game, and I'm going to show you how awesome this is, man. It's literally a Dana White simulator. You manage your own UFC roster or UFC company, I guess you could say. You manage fights, you manage anything. I'm just going to call it test just for whatever, just to kind of get the game going. And it's going to kind of build up the character. It's all like kind of auto generates this and that, and it's amazing. Like, you can customize your databases. You can find databases on real life, so you can actually do a real UFC simulator if you wanted to. I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm going to be Milton Harvey. Milton Harvey is a retired fighter, and I'm just going to kind of throw in a bunch of different skills. I like to have negotiating all the way up. I like to have matchmaking all the way up, so people don't say that they don't want to fight. And also I like promotion being all the way up, because when you get pretty far into the game, you've got to put on some really good cards that people are going to enjoy. So what I'm going to do to start out the game is I'm going to decide on the company that I want to start. So we've got a bunch of different options here. Gamma is kind of like the UFC. Alpha 1 is almost like the 1FC, I guess you could say, but this is kind of set up a long time ago. This Showbite FC is kind of something that I set up myself. It's my own custom database, but what we're not custom database, custom company. But we're not going to do that. We're going to start with Gamma, I think, or yeah, we'll just play as the owner of Gamma. And when you get into it, it's pretty overwhelming because there's so much going on in the game and so much you can do. But what you literally do is you're a Dana White simulator. You manage a company, you manage everything. You go over here to this little phone sort of thing, and you can look at your roster, your rankings, your weight classes. So you've got so many people on your weight classes, you can move people in between weight classes. You can also create new weight classes and all that in the database sort of editor. You've got a broadcast team here. This is like your Joe Rogan and your John Anik, you know what I mean? They're the guys that are going to be talking about the fights. You've got a bout system, you've got rankings, but you can also make fights, and this is what we're going to have to do to get into it. But you've also got broadcasters, you've got your broadcast team, you've got your media. These are the guys which put on your shows, and you can create new deals, but we won't get into that too much. I'm just going to kind of speed run the start of the game and kind of show you guys what you can do. So let's create a new show. We're going to go to the matchmaking tab here and add a show. It is going to be the first show. I will put it on in Nevada because it is in America, USA, and it's going to be called Gamma 50. There's nothing going on, so it's just going to be called main event name, and I'm just going to autofill everything. It's going to be a massive show. It's going to be on a Saturday, and it's also going to be about a month away to give the fighters time to prepare for the fight. So we go here, super heavyweight rankings. It's George Pickering is our number 1 ranked guy. Our number 2 ranked guy is this guy called Henley Poulter. It actually has a live odds, or like an odds of the fight, and George Pickering is probably going to win. We'll have him defending the belt. Just to kind of start it off. And why not put on another fight? And why not put on another title fight here? We've got Matthew Dean, who's pretty dominant. It's actually going to be a rematch here. The fight must have happened a while ago. It happened in 2001. So I guess the rematch does make sense. We can do the rematch between the number 1 and number 2 middleweights on our roster. And we can keep going down to kind of randomize things. I like to go by popularity. We can get this Halio guy on the card. He can be on the main card as well. And it does tell you in the top how popular these guys are. So this is a mid-level international fight, but this is going to be a high-level international fight. So it would be a strong main event. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to put it up pretty high. It looks like I accidentally made a title fight, but that is what it is. I'm just kind of trying to speed run everything here, just kind of get these guys on the card. And what you can do as well is you can sign fighters as well that you want to put on the card. I'm kind of just doing everything quickly just to kind of give you guys a little show off of how you can play the game and what you can do and all those sorts of things. But if you want a more in-depth kind of gameplay sort of thing, let me know in the comments below. I'll be pretty keen to kind of make something up like that. But I'm just going to put on a bunch of main card fights. I'll put on like 5 or 4 prelims just to kind of get the card going. We can go back to Alter Show. We can push this button and it's going to give us a name of the show, which is cool. And we've got a whole show there all set up in about a month's time. But let's just say we want to hire some more fighters, right? So what we can do here is we can go to the characters screen and it's going to load up all of the characters in here. But if you want to get some more fighters, you want to go to active fighters and you want to go to employment, available for hire. And here we go. It's going to come up with a massive list of fighters that are all available for hire. We're going to look into this guy. He's 9-1 on the regional scene. He's won a couple of fights. That sounds good. So we're going to go to negotiate a new contract with him. He wants an exclusive contract, 2 years, 4 fights, and $2,100 to show. Little 10% bonuses on all these sort of little things. And you can offer him money. Let's make the offer. And he says that he would accept the terms. But he's not super happy about it. They're in orange, so maybe he'll come back to us and we'll have to finalize the deal. But he seems like a pretty good guy to have on our roster. But what I'm going to do is we're just going to skip all the way through to the next show. We're going to skip a whole month in time. Usually I like to go day by day or every couple of days to kind of keep on top of things. But I'm trying to speed run everything for you guys, so hopefully you guys can see kind of what this game is all about, how the fight system works, and what you can do. You can also obviously create multiple shows in advance. I always like to have like 10 shows lined up. I always have massive rosters. When I play this game, I sign a lot of fighters to my weight classes. Like I have like 50 guys in each weight classes. It usually gets pretty crazy, but yeah, that's what I like to do, but it's going to skip through. It's going to take a very, very long time, unfortunately, because it does have to skip through an entire month in the game world. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait for it to come through. It is going through pretty quickly, though. A day is only a few seconds at the moment, and as the game does kind of progress and go through, it does speed up, but at the very beginning of the game, none of the companies have got shows set up yet. So they're building their shows and the game has got to process the other companies building their shows, this and that. But I will come back to you guys when that show is all ready to go. So the game just stops loading and it does mean that we are going to be all good to go to get into the next fight. So let's just skip through. It looks like something's happened. So throughout that skipping time, it looks like someone got injured and one of the fights is cancelled. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cancel that. If I was going day by day, you would have picked that up in your mail sort of section here. It says that the fighters are cancelled, and normally you can just kind of add someone on short notice. You do have to pay short notice people a little bit more, and you do have money in the game. I've got like $10 million in the bank. But yeah, it's because we're Gamma. We're literally the biggest company in the game right now in 2002. And before we get into the next kind of part of the game, let me know, do you guys want me to do like a tutorial? Do you want me to maybe even do like a little bit of a playthrough of this, so you guys can kind of see what this game is all about, how you play the game, especially if it's a tutorial video that you guys kind of want. But let's just go through, and it's going to give you a little preview of all of the fights that we're about to see, which is going to be pretty exciting. But let's go through. So the first fight of the night, PD Mac is a pretty big favorite over Sultan Ripley here. You can start the timer and just let it go automatically, or so it's going to tell you who the ref is, and it's also going to give you like a text based on what's going to happen in the fight. And this is exactly the screen that UFC Gambling Addicts does show you, except he uses real fighters because there are databases, there are mods, there are all sorts of things after that. It looks like the fight is already over at 47 seconds, sorry, in about a minute. PD Mac's got the KO over Sultan Ripley, which is pretty crazy because Sultan Ripley had a 17-4 record. He was 5-3 in the promotion, and PD Mac, I believe, was 5-4 in the promotion, and he was on a bit of a skid because he has minus momentum, negative momentum. He lost a couple of fights. And they've also got little backgrounds as well, which is interesting to read about. It's quite fun to read about, and it kind of lets you know like what's going on with all that sort of thing. It's quite cool to read about them, especially kind of when you create your own promotion and you start from the bottom and build your way up. It can get quite interesting, but that was cool. So PD Mac just won, which is good for him. Now we're going to move on in the game, in the world. It looks like Frank BMF Paul's a huge favorite, minus 1,000 over a 19-year-old 2-1 fighter. Makes sense. I'm just going to skip to the end. It went the distance, so probably the best we didn't actually manually skip through all of that. Would have taken quite a while. We move on to the next one. Leonardo da Costa is a massive favorite over this up-and-coming 9-1 fighter, and he gets the win in the first round. we can then move on. They also do give speeches and stuff. I'll look into that soon. Neil Napier just won that fight. I believe he is pretty highly ranked in Gamma, and they just says thanks for his sponsors and all of his fans. But sometimes they do call-outs. Sometimes they can talk a little bit of smack. Sometimes they can invite people to post-show parties and all that sort of thing. But a lot of the time, though, sometimes if you get people with like an aggressive sort of personality, what they actually do is they start to call people out, and they can create beefs with each other. And then those beefs, if they're beefs, they actually have fights that get more hype. So it can get quite interesting and quite in-depth as well. This is the co-main event. Matthew Dean, I believe, is actually pound for pound #1 in the world. He probably should have been the main event. But you can actually talk to the fighters as well. And I'm going to tell him, maybe how about you join a team? Because he's not in a team right now. You can see he's got no team. Or you can tell him to found a team. And he decided to create his own team there. So now he's actually created his own team. You look into a whole thing. You can look into his health. You can actually look at injury history. You can look into his personal thing, these current relationships, if he's got a beef with someone, or if he's got any friends, it will tell you that. You can also look at his fight history. You can look at his record. He's lost to this guy Martin De Vries in the past. You can search him up and find out who Martin De Vries is. Maybe you could sign him to your company if you wanted to. But I do believe in the game Martin De Vries has retired. But we'll look into that after this. George Pickering, 35 years old, taking on a young up-and-comer, and he gets the win in the fourth round, and he gets the job done. And now at the end of everything here, you've got the attendance of how many people showed up to your show, how many people liked the show. It got 91% commercial rating because we had 3 title fights, and also they ended up being pretty good fights. And it was also a pay-per-view, which I didn't even notice, and we made $2 million. On the pay-per-view, it was only broadcast to USA. If it was broadcast to other countries, it would boost their popularity or negatively affect their popularity if we put a bad show on. But everyone loved it. We can give out $5,000 bonuses. You can actually manually give out performance bonuses to kind of everyone if you really wanted to, but we'll just do that just for funds. And we made $2 million on that card. That's a lot of money to make off one card. But it is Gamma. It's the biggest promotion in the game. It's a lot more fun to start with a regional promotion and really try to build them up, especially with the real-life databases. But with the real-life databases, they take so long to load. But if you guys want me to make videos on how to install mods, on how to even just play the game, because I know how to speed run the whole sort of thing, showing you guys what the game is all about, that's what it is. So we just finished it. We can create another show just by kind of double clicking on no show scheduled or whatever. Create more shows. You can create like 10 shows. You can create as many shows as you want in advance. You can put them on in different locations all around the world. You can scout locations all around the world. You can go to your little message bar and have a little read here. And yeah, you can kind of just go to whoever you want. You can look at the world rankings here and have a gander here. It looks like everyone here is world ranked. I don't believe this guy's going to be on exclusive contract. He is. But what you can do to find out the best people that aren't on exclusive contracts is you go free agent rankings, fire this one up, and it looks like this Mario De Souza guy with the 24-9 record is the best unranked guy, or sorry, unsigned guy to an exclusive contract. There's a lot of good guys on here, a lot of good guys that you can sign. Pai Cheng is 9-0, maybe you'd be looking and signing him. 23 years old prospect, he could come up on top. It's just a great game that there's so much little things in the game that you can kind of read about and find out about. It's pretty fun. It's cool. Like, if you guys like it, definitely let me know. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. If you want me to make more videos about this game, maybe about other games. I don't really play too many games. I play a lot of games on my Xbox, but I can't really record that on my PC. But yeah, let me know what you think. I know it's a little bit of a different video for me, a little bit of a different style, but this definitely is a game that needs a bit more showcase than it gets. It doesn't really have too many people talking about it. It's a great game. It really is a great game that you can manage a Dana White. You can manage a UFC company. You can manage an MMA company. It's great. It's a fun game, and it's cool. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys had some sort of interest even in this sort of thing. Maybe just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.